rise above it all, let your light shine through. Answer the call, there's power in you. Don't hesitate, this is your moment. Go on, be great. This is your story, it's time to ignite. A life of intention, a future so bright. The world is waiting, don't let it wait. Step into your greatness, it's time, be great.
Well, hello. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Welcome to the Idea Academy weekly stream. My name is Andrew. I am the founder and CEO of the Idea Training Academy. We are a coaching and consulting firm. And what that means is that we work with individuals, we work with teams, we work with leaders, we work with people who want to become the best version of themselves. So that means maybe you're stuck right now. Maybe you don't know how to get to the next place. Maybe you are just in a dead-end job. Maybe you're not happy with the way your life is going. We exist to help you move past. And we've got some exciting new things that are coming out that I'm going to talk a little bit about later today. But that's not what this is about. This is our weekly chance to get together and talk through some of what's going on in the world. So if you're out there, first of all, welcome in. Thank you for joining. Love to see you guys out there. Make sure you say hi in chat. I saw Kat has already thrown that out there. We are live right now, both on YouTube as well as on Twitch, and so you can check that out. I should have the socials just went up a little bit ago. So you can find me on YouTube or Twitch, wherever you want to consume. Hey, Patch, what's up? Welcome in. Welcome in. Good to see you as well. All right, guys. Well, let's get started. Let's get started today. By the way, if you have questions and you want to ask those anonymously, you can use this link. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable asking questions in the chat, or asking questions directly in the chat. So I am putting that up there for you guys. If you want that, it should scroll through every few minutes anyway, but you've got that right now. You can feel free to drop those in at any time if you want. Let's get into the meat of today. Why did I want to sit down with you guys today, other than that I just love talking about personal growth and performance? It's my favorite thing to talk about. I love it. It doesn't matter if it's talking to an individual or it's talking to an organization. I love talking to people about getting better, making their lives better, and increasing their ceiling in every single way. You have a next step, whether you know it or not. You have a next step, and it is just waiting for you to take it. So we're going to talk about next steps today, but let's talk, guys. Can we talk about New Year's resolutions, please? New Year's resolutions. I hate them. Hate their guts. New Year's resolutions, light them on fire, burn them in the bonfire, throw those things in the trash, get rid of them. New Year's resolutions. Hate those guys. But you say to me, Andrew, wait a minute. But you're the motivation guy, right? You're the positivity guy. You're the man who tells people that they should be reaching for new things, that they should be stretching. They should be going further than they've ever gone before. So why wouldn't you be into New Year's resolutions? And I'll tell you why I'm not into New Year's resolutions. I'm not into New Year's resolutions because they don't work. They don't work at all. Do you know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow is January 10th. And do you know what that is? I'll tell you what it is. January 10th this year is a day that's called Quitter's Day. Quitter's Day is literally what it's called. It's the second Friday of January every year is called Quitter's Day. And it's called Quitter's Day because that's the day when most people give up on their New Year's resolutions. We all start fresh, right, every year, and we think, this is the year. I'm going to do things. But the vast majority of us give up on those things by the second Friday in January. I've done it. You've done it. Be honest with me. You've done it. What have you given up on? What have you given up on already this year? Is there something that you've already given up on this year? Is it bad that I just didn't do a New Year's resolution this year? It's not bad, kitty cat. And I'm going to tell you why. Because New Year's resolutions don't work. But you know what does work? What works is creating real, actionable plans for your year. Hey, what's up? That's my man Juju. How are you doing, sir? Feel better? Head of steel is sick? What? Lurking from your sick bed. Dude, I hope you're feeling better soon, man. Oh, man, that's no good. But it's good to see you here, sir. It's very good to see you here. So let's talk about New Year's resolutions for a second. Here's some quick research. I did some quick research before the show today to find out exactly if there have been studies done on why people give up on their New Year's resolutions. And there have been, in fact. So there are three primary motivating reasons that people give up, or that they stated in this study, that they give up on their New Year's resolutions. Number one is unrealistic expectations. I'm going to go into each one of these in detail, but let me get them out here. Unrealistic expectations, number one. Lack of specific action plans, number two. That's a big one. I'm going to be coming back to that a lot. And number three, insufficient support systems. Those are the three reasons, statistically, why most people will give up on their New Year's resolutions by tomorrow. Now, hopefully you're smart. Hopefully, like Kat, you did not make New Year's resolutions, and instead, what you did was you came up with some good, solid, values-based, intention-based plans for the year. And we're going to talk a little bit about how to kind of peel that back and do a little bit of problem solving here with you guys today. So we're going to get into those three. But I'm trying to. Yes, good. I love to see that. I love to hear it. That's the way to do it. And one of the ways that you could have done that, or you could still do it if you want, is the 30-day New Year's challenge. And I know not everybody got into it on day one. Some people are already in there. So if you're in the 30-day New Year's challenge right now, every morning, you're getting an email from me. That email is coming straight into your email box, and that's going to give you some tips for how to stay on track with one thing, just one thing. And we're going to talk more about that in a little bit too. One thing. Don't try to change everything all at once. It doesn't work. Hey, Phoenix, how's it going? It's good to see you, man. How are you doing this fine day? It's beautiful to see you in chat. So, but I want to talk about the impact, right? Because this is counterintuitive, but believe it or not, it can actually be more harmful. It's cold. It's kind of cold here where I live too, even in California, man. New Year's resolutions seem like a good idea, but they can actually be harmful. And that seems super counterintuitive, right? Because you think, well, at the very least, I at least set a goal. I said I was going to do something, right? But here's why. Because once again, most people go into New Year's resolutions with no plan on how they're going to stay consistent. And as a result, they give up. And when they give up, what does that cause? It causes guilt. Most people look at themselves when they give up a resolution and they're like, I can't do it. I can't do it. See, I proved to myself I didn't believe that I could do it, and I didn't do it. So, number one, that speaks to your own self-belief. You've got to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't have an identity that tells you, I am the kind of person who can do hard things, then you will not do hard things. Bottom line, right? But the second thing is now you're dealing with the guilt. And guilt, guess what guilt does? Guilt increases stress. And when we have stress, what do? We go into defensive mode. And when our brains send our bodies into defensive mode, then that creates a total lack of physical and psychic, not like I can see your thoughts, psychic like mental, physical and mental motivation. That all goes directly out the window when we're buttoned down with guilt and stress. And that's why I hate New Year's resolutions, because they end up causing more problems for people than they solve. Let me catch up with chat here. I said I would start the new year with a job. Got my first day was Monday, December 30th. Nice, very good. That's awesome to hear. I'm excited for great new things coming up in the year for you. That's going to be super cool, my man. Very, very good. So let's peel this back. Let's talk about the 3 obstacles. And I've got just a few notes here that I'll go over with you. Let's talk about the 3 obstacles that are reasons that your New Year's resolutions absolutely don't work, and how we can overcome those obstacles. I've never attempted a New Year's resolution. Well, in a way, that's very good. But also, on the other hand, the question is, how do you set your goals? So if you're in chat right now, if you're watching, then by all means, let me know how you set your goals if you don't do New Year's resolutions, which I think is great. But let's talk about obstacle number 1. Obstacle number 1, unrealistic expectations. Unrealistic expectations. This is a big one, guys. We go into January and we're like, listen, this is the year. I'm going to quit smoking. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to go to the gym every day. I'm going to lose 20 pounds, right? This is the year. This is the year. And as an optimist and someone who tells you to be optimistic, like, yeah, go into it with that. This is the year. But here's the problem. We create unrealistic expectations. We try to change everything, or at least everything about that one aspect of our lives all at once. And when we do that, when we try to change everything or too many things all at once, then what that creates is it's dissonance, and it becomes very, very hard to stay consistent on the basic daily disciplines that you need in order to carry out a solid plan that's actionable and sustainable. I backwards plan. I like that. I like that too. Backwards planning I could do a whole show on that. I love backwards planning. So good, so good. So let me give you an example, right? And I may have mentioned this before, but was talking to my mom, right? My mom, I love her to death. And I was talking to her about New Year's, and I told her, hey, mom, I'm going to do this New Year's challenge. It's going to be really great. Like, I'm going to help people focus in on one thing, one aspect. And she said, okay, that's great. And she joined the challenge. And then I went over to her house a couple weeks ago. And I'm like, yeah, man, New Year's challenge, like we're going to change one thing. We're going to make one change. And my mom said, oh, but there's so many things. Like I have to change all of these different things. And this is where it comes down. This is where our expectations become unrealistic, right? Because we look at our lives and we think, oh gosh, like, yeah. Uh-oh. Am I frozen? That is interesting. Am I frozen on your screen the same way that I'm frozen on my screen? My guess is probably. I thought it was just me. I think my camera might have shut off. Let's see. Hold on. No, camera is on. Let's try resetting that. I can hear you, but you are frozen. Great. Great. Fabulous. I had to reset Twitch. Hang on. Let me see what's going on here. I think possibly my cable from my camera might be bad. This is a whole thing. So bear with me. I tried resetting Twitch and that didn't work. Nope, it's frozen. Yeah, it's totally me, guys. Let me see. See if I can get this to work if I reset the camera connection. Maybe this is an audio podcast. No, there we go. Okay, good. I think I'm back. Give it a second or two, and it should be back. So sorry about that. Don't know what's going on, but I'll definitely look into it. We'll see what's going on there. There it is. Welcome back. So my mom, just like the rest of us, she looks at her life and she's like, I got to change all these things. I got to change my health. I got to change my eating habits. I got to get to the gym. I got to do this. I got to do that. And it's like, yeah, mom, you got to do all those things. Heck yeah. You're not getting any younger, as it turns out. But don't do all of them once. Why not do all of them at once? Because if you attempt all of them at once, you will fail all of them at the same time. And why? So it's kind of like prioritization. I have a client, a coaching client that I'm working with, an executive coaching client, and one of the things that we're working with her is how to prioritize things. And so she's kind of new to this executive role. She's been in the past, she's been an entrepreneur. So she started her own companies, and she's now coming into to run somebody else's company for the first time in her life. Changing everything all at once is overwhelming. Absolutely. And that's why we should never do it. We should never even attempt to change everything all at once. We should be very targeted and strategic with the changes that we choose to make. And so this client of mine, we're talking about how to prioritize, and she's like, I just don't know. Everything seems important. And I said, absolutely. Everything is important, and that's never going to stop. But if you don't prioritize, when everything is an equal priority, and what that means is nothing is a priority. And when nothing is a priority, then everything feels like a priority. And so you have to learn to pick the things that are going to have the greatest impact. So think about your life right now. And think, hopefully you've thought through. If you haven't thought through the things that you need to change, and everybody has something they need to change, guys. And it doesn't necessarily mean, changing doesn't mean like giving up smoking or giving up drinking. We don't all necessarily need to make those types of changes, but change is growth. And so if you want to get better, then you've got to embrace change. You've got to grow this year. This is your year to grow, to get bigger, to get better, to increase your knowledge, to increase your followership, whatever it is that you want to do. This is your year to do it. But what you shouldn't do is look at all of the different things that you have to do and say, I've got to do all of these at once. No, it starts with one step. Every journey starts with a single step. And that's your first step. Look at everything, figure out what you need to change, and then I want you to prioritize. And here is how I'm going to tell you to prioritize. So how do you prioritize what changes to make in your life? How do you choose what to start with first? I'm going to give it to you this way. Here it is. I want you to write down everything that you need to change in your life. And then I want you to go back and I want you to find the way that those changes connect to each other. How do they connect to each other? And when you found that, usually you'll find one thing that will have impact across multiple different things. And that is where you start. You start with the thing that's going to have the most impact on the most areas of your life. That's where you begin, right? And if maybe if you were talking about in the business sense, because we do business here too. In the business sense, like I was telling my client, one really easy way, if you can't figure out what the priorities are, deadlines. Deadlines. Listen, you should be giving yourself a deadline on every single thing you do. I picked this up from Brendan Burchard, who's an amazing motivational speaker, as well as he's the world's top high performance coach. And what I learned from him is if you don't put a deadline on a goal, it's just a dream. It's not real until it's got a deadline. Give yourself deadlines and then prioritize based on those deadlines. Glitching, freezing, and no sound occasionally. Stream quality all good from here. Okay, good. Sorry, yeah, everything looks good from here too. So, I think we are okay. Maybe your connection to me, Tal. I don't know. So we got to prioritize. We got to figure out what's the most important thing. When I do consulting with businesses, I was in a meeting just yesterday, and I'm teaching a new consultant how to think like a consultant. And one of the things that we do is we go through what we call the 6 critical questions. And these 6 critical questions were written down. They were created by a man named Pat Lencioni. He is the creator of the 6 Types of Working Genius, and he is the head of the Table Group, which is a consulting firm as well. And I take a lot of my thought in that space from him. And so I was helping to teach this new person how to think like a consultant. And I said, the one thing that you have to do of these 6 questions, the one thing you've got to be sure that you can do when you're in business is you've got to be able to answer the question, what's most important right now? And that goes for you too in your life. You need to be able to answer the question at all times, what's most important right now? And if you can't answer the question, what's most important right now, then scrap everything else, ditch the plans, don't worry about the disciplines, don't worry about it, figure it out. Figure out what's most important right now, because once we know what's most important right now, then we know what we've got to work on. That becomes your priority. So the question is, though, okay, so fine, now I've got my thing, but how do I keep myself out of unrealistic expectations even when I have the thing? Like, man, I'm going to go in, I'm going to be positive, I'm going to lose 20 pounds this month, right? Might not be realistic. Or because things like weight loss, right? Sustainable weight loss. I use that one because it's an easy one. But things like sustainable weight loss, they take the time that they're going to take. Sometimes there's, based on your body morphology and your biology, there's no way to accelerate that process. You might be able to, but you might do it in ways that are dangerous. And a lot of times when people lose weight very quickly, guess what happens? They put it right back on because they did the hack, but they didn't build the discipline around it. So don't do hacks, do disciplines instead. So what are you going to do? You're going to break this thing down. You're going to take whatever this thing is, and you're going to break it down. And you're going to break it down into the smallest possible steps that you can. So let's say, you're going to focus on your health this year. This is the year that you're going to prioritize your health. What is the smallest thing, the tiniest thing that you could possibly do? And you got it. The important thing is it's got to be something that you can't fail at, right? So let's start with water, right? So my empty water glass here that should be full. Let's start with, okay, I'm going to drink a glass of water every morning. First thing when I get up, I'm going to drink a glass of water. That is something so small that it's going to be really hard to fail at it. That's a great first step. So you start that and you do that discipline every single day. Every single day. You get up and you build a system around it, right? Okay, So I got to think, where am I going to do it? How am I going to do it? What's going to be my trigger, right? So I wake up. If the glass of water or the bottle of water is right there by my bedside, then it's going to be the first thing that I do. Maybe I'm going to stack this on top of another habit, right? Habit stacking is the thing. We learned this from James Clear in Atomic Habits. When we're habit stacking, what that means is we're going to take a habit that we want to build, or in my terminology, we're going to take a new discipline that we want to create, and we're going to stack it on top of something that's already a discipline. So, for example, what's the first thing you do in the morning? Every single morning. I'll tell you, the first thing I do every single morning is I shut my alarm off, because my alarm goes off at 5:30 and I don't want that. And so I shut my alarm off first thing every single morning. So what's the first thing you do every morning? Because maybe that is what you stack your glass of water habit on top of, right? If I wanted to create that habit for myself, I might put the water bottle or the glass of water, I might put it in front of my phone, which I use for my alarm. Not the best alarm clock, but that's what I use for my alarm. So I might put it in front of that phone so that in order to reach that alarm, I actually have to see and maybe even reach past that glass of water, right? So that's stacking a habit. Some people, use when they're brushing their teeth, like they come up with 5 positive statements about themselves every day. What is that going to be? So you gotta number one, break it into small steps and master one step. Just get that step drilled, get it dialed in, and then build the next step. Make it something complementary. Make it something that goes along with that. Maybe now I'm not only going to drink that glass of water, but I'm going to take a vitamin with it, right? Or maybe if you're not the type of person who can take vitamins first thing in the morning, maybe it's going to be something else for you, right? Maybe you're going to do 5 push-ups, right? I'm going to drink that glass of water and then I'm going to do 5 push-ups. Whatever it is, right? We're going to stack those complementary habits on top of each other. And what you're going to find is over time, if you will master things one at a time, instead of trying to pull all these things and, okay, I'm going to do intermittent fasting. I'm going to fix my sleep habits. I'm going to change the way that I eat on a daily basis. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to try all of these things at once. And what's going to happen is some of those are not going to go. They're not going to go because you're not going to successfully attach those if you try and attach them all at one time. So what you've got to do is master one step at a time, and that's called building a system. Now you're building a system to get you to your goal. The other thing that a lot of people don't do is they're not very smart about their goals, right? There's an old saying, hey Brickman, welcome in. There's an old saying or an old, acronym that people use. They've used it at least for the last 25 years that I'm aware of, and I don't even know who built this, but it's not important. SMART goals, right? SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound is what SMART. And there are variations on what that can be all about, but set SMART goals. But to some degree, that's kind of cheesy, right? SMART goals. Everybody's going to tell you. Every coach you ever have is going to tell you to set SMART goals. Okay, it's real dumb, but there is something to it, right? Specific is important. If you don't set your goal specifically, you're not going to reach your goal, right? So, and it's not about, and this is, if you're in the 30-day challenge, you would have gotten some of this, right? It's not about setting specific outcome, right? It's not about, I'm going to lose 20 pounds this month. Hey, Ben, welcome in. How are you doing, my friend? Good to see you. It's about specifically, what am I going to do to change my life this year? Maybe it is prioritizing your health. Maybe it's getting that book written. That's what it is for me. This year for me, it is, I'm starting the year. So my goal to start the year, just to be completely open and transparent and to let you know that I use these things. The things that I'm telling you guys, I use this stuff. I don't just make it up and then just put it on the web for you to check out. By the way, if you go to my website, ideatrainingacademy.com, right there on the front page, you can still sign up for the 30-day challenge if you want. You can start on your own track. That's totally fine. I'll send you all of the emails. It is totally free. Also, costs you nothing whatsoever. But on that front page, there's also a little box where you can put your email address in. And if you put your email address in, then I will send you every single week. I'll send you just a very brief newsletter. I don't want to spam you guys, but I'll send you a real quick little newsletter that highlights some of the things that we've talked about this week, or some of the things that I've discovered or learned this week. And there will be a link in that email to download the show guide. So every week I create a show guide to give you a reminder of what we talked about here, and maybe some bonus tips and things like that. And that can be downloaded if you go and join my email list. You can do that at ideatrainingacademy.com. So be specific, set your goals, measurements, right? Measurements. And measurements are not about necessarily, again, it's not about the number of pounds you're going to lose. It could be about the number of days you're going to do things. So I was talking about myself, right? I said I was going to explain to you how I'm applying these things to my own life, right? And so the goal that I set for myself for the month of January was, I'm going to create this 30-day challenge. And what that means is every day, it means, writing an email, right? It's going to mean sending that email out to people. And it's going to mean engaging with the people who engage back around that, right? Because in those emails, there's an extra credit section every day. And so when you get those emails, I invite you to email me back and to let me know, what your thoughts are, or maybe what your focus area is, or those things. And so then I'm responding back to those things. So the very basic, simple thing that I'm doing is I'm writing an email for every single day of the month. That's where I'm starting. Why am I starting there? Because a bigger goal that I have for 2025 is I want to grow the number of people I get my information out to, right? It's not about growing viewers or things like that, but I want to get more people who I can get the information to, the type of things that we use. So that's the big thing. So a part of how I'm practicing that is by getting used to producing one piece of content every single day. So that's that. Once I got a system in place for that, which I have, I know I have a system in place for that. Once I created a system for that, I layered the next thing on. What was the next thing? The next thing was I was going to make sure that I put at least one post on my social media every single day. Because again, that's about the greater task of bringing more people into the fold of personal development. And so every single day, I'm creating one piece of content, and I'm making sure I get posts out on the social media. Let's see. Let me real quick read through chat here. So Brickman says, I didn't set SMART goals for 2024. My goal in 2025 that I need to focus on is being true to myself, change my life from narcissistic bully behavior to friendly chill behavior. Most importantly, wait 10 years later to mature into a more independent, productive, and professional streamer. That's amazing, Brickman. I love those ambitions. I love that, like that high level thinking. Now just think, what you've got to think about is, what's the first step? What's the smallest thing that you can do starting today that you can't fail at? Right? Tell us you've fallen behind on the 30-day challenge. That's okay. Every day is a new day. Just get back on track, right? Just pick up. You'll do it. You can do it, right? You have to tell yourself, I am the type of person who can get started again. Things fall through. I am the type of person who can be consistent. I am the type of person, right? It's all about, you have to start with your identity. If you don't have an identity, if you don't have the voice inside you, that's telling you you can, then you're going to listen to the voice that's telling you you can't, right? And we don't want that. So the other piece that goes along with these unrealistic expectations, and it ties into this too, is the myth of the real world. You guys know this is a big thing. This is from my book, Be Great. By the way, Be Great will come out this year. Right now, I am seeking a cover artist for that book. It will come out this year. So that's another thing that's going to happen this year. But in my book, I talk about the myth of the real world. And this myth of the real world is, it's all about people who You ever get these people who they're like, oh, I'm not a pessimist or an optimist. I'm just a realist. I live in the real world, right? And these people are deluding themselves. They're deluding themselves. And you're deluding yourself if you think that there's a real world where the examples of the people who have gone before you and succeeded at things in their life do not apply to you. Then let me tell you right now, your real world is fake news, my friend. Because here's the thing. This stuff works. This stuff works. When you try it, when you stay consistent, it works. But when you believe, oh, there's a real world. And in my real world, you know what? I'm saddled with ADHD. Oh, I have ADHD. I can't stay focused to things. Oh, you know what? I have fill in the blank, right? I have this. I have that. I have the other thing. You know what that is? That's living in the real world. That's telling yourself, oh, I'm limited. I'm limited by the conditions of my life. No, my friends, you are not limited by the conditions of your life. You got to get out of the real world. You got to stay realistic, right? And realistic is not about saying, I could do great things, because you should be saying, I could do great things. Listen, if nobody else tells you today, let me be the one who tells you, okay? Because growing up, I didn't have a lot of people telling me, hey, you know what? You could be great. Like, you could just be really, really great. I didn't have people telling me that. And it's not because people didn't love me, but it's because I grew up in, a time and in a place where it was like, you know what? If you tell people, that they have the possibility to be great, then, that might go to their head. They might get too proud, those kinds of things, right? But the bottom line is, you need somebody to tell you, you need somebody in your life to tell you that you can be great. You need somebody in your life to challenge you to achieve the greatness that's inside of you. And so if I'm that person, I'm going to be that person. You be great. You can do it. I believe in you. I know you can. Don't let those voices inside. And listen, I had a coach that was all up about like, hey, you got to figure out who those voices are. When you hear that saying, you got to figure out who that person is. No, you don't. You don't have to figure out who that person is, because you know who that person is who's saying those voices inside your head. That person is you, my friends. That person is you. It is not your mom, is not your dad, is not your Uncle Mickey or your school teacher or your professor in college who didn't believe in you. Those voices inside your head are not those people. They are you, because you have accepted those things into your identity. And those voices have become a part of your internal life. So what do? You got to talk back to the voices. You've got to say, no, that's not who I am. That's not who I'm going to be. And you need to hear that you can be great. And so I'm not going to stop telling you. I will never stop telling you that. You have greatness inside you, my friend. And I cannot wait to see the things you're going to do this year. Okay, let me catch up with chat. Being friendly to others, spread that positivity around them, and they'll do the same. Love that, Brickman, right? Number one thing, be friendly to others. Build a plan, right? Build a plan. That's what we're going to talk about. Obstacle number 2, lack of specific action plans. I'll get there in a second. We got to have a plan, because if we don't have a plan, then no goal will succeed. You got to have a plan. I know I can. Right now, my life is very demanding, but I'm going to start this weekend. I love it. I love it. Don't let that life that says, oh, you know what? I got to work to pay the bills. I don't have time to improve myself. No, absolutely. Oh, I don't have enough money. I can't afford that. I can't afford that coaching, that coaching that I really need to get, or I can't afford that therapy on the other side, right? I don't do that, but it's important. I can't afford those things because I got to pay the bills. No, absolutely not. If you invest in something this year, guys, I hope it's not crypto. I hope it's not the stock market. I hope it's not real estate. If you're going to invest in one thing this year, I hope it's you. I hope you spend some money this year on getting better, on upping your skills, on building your self-belief, on challenging yourself to do things that you've never done before. If you're going to spend money this year, spend it on you. Invest in yourself. Very, very important. That is an excuse. Hey, you know what? The first step towards anything is self-awareness. So if you know you're making excuses in your mind, then it's time that you step past those things. That's amazing. Start today. Emails take about 5 to 10 minutes. Absolutely. You're saying the right things that I've stopped telling myself for years, but enough excuses. Things need to change. You got it. Absolutely. Waterboy comes to mind. You can do it. Absolutely. Brickman, I'm so glad to hear you say that, because that is exactly it. You know what? And you know why? You know why you stopped telling yourself those things, Brickman? I'll tell you why. Because it's the same reason that I stopped telling myself those things, is because I felt like nobody else was telling me those things. And so when I went looking around to other people to validate those things about myself, you know what happened? I stopped believing them. So, I was kind of an ambitious kid. Like, I wanted to do great things in life. Like, I wanted to be whatever it was that I wanted to be when I was little. But then at some point in my life, I was so busy looking for the validation of those dreams from other people that I stopped believing in my ability to reach them. And that happens. It may be happening to you right now, but I'm here to tell you that those dreams are still every bit as valid as when they first formed themselves in your mind. Don't let go of them. And don't let anybody tell you that there's got to be some kind of practical thing. You've got to live in the real world. Don't let people tell you that. That's rigid. Living with rigid beliefs, living with absolutes of the way that you are or aren't, those things are going to hold you back. Don't let it into your identity. Don't be an I am not person, I cannot person. Be an I can person or I will person. Even better. I love it. Obstacle number 2, lack of specific action plans. Okay, we talked about this a little bit, but here's the problem: is if your goals, even if your goals specific, but you don't have a clear roadmap, it's just like, I'm going to go back to the weight loss thing because it's top of my mind. I am, by the way, I am hoping to shed a few more pounds this year. Top of my mind, and it's a really easy one. So if I just go, hey, I just want to, I want to lose 20 pounds. That sounds specific. It's not. It's not specific. It is the vaguest thing possible, because what are you going to do? It doesn't say what you're going to do. It just says what outcome you want. So vague goals without a clear roadmap, you can't follow it. You can't just go, like, I can't just go lose 20 pounds. That's never going to happen right now. So I have got to have an action plan. So here's the way that you break it down. Number 1, you got to figure out what the main goal is. So the main goal, that means you got to clarify what success looks like. I put out a video this last week. Again, please follow me. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on Facebook. You can follow me on YouTube. I hope you're following me on YouTube. If you're not already, please get over there and follow my YouTube channel. I've got a TikTok channel now that's actually pretty active and that's actually catching on a little bit. So check me out on TikTok. Like, come on, guys. Let's share the good work, the good word. But I put out a post on the socials this last week, and I talked about this, and I talked about the one question that I always ask people whenever we start on a coaching program. And that question that is absolutely transformational. That question is this question. It is, in a year, right? Assuming that, and I'm sorry, I don't know what's going on with my voice today. In a year, assuming you get all the coaching, all the resources, all the training, all the help you want in 1 year, what does your life look like? Because what I'm asking them is, what does success look like to you? Thank you, Patch. I appreciate that. Oh, nope, those are the wrong ones. Doggone it. Let's see. So you can find me if you look on any of those platforms under just my name altogether. If you look on those platforms, you will find me. So not Twitter. I don't do Twitter anymore. Nobody does Twitter anymore. Get rid of that thing. On TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, you should be able to find me. On Facebook, it's actually Idea Training Academy, which is the name of my company. And if you go to the website, ideatrainingacademy.com, down towards the bottom of the page, there's actually links for all my individual socials there as well. So check out my website, ideatrainingacademy.com. But I was talking about this social media post, right? What does success look like to you? That's what you got to figure out. That's what will help you to specify your goal, to be really explicit about your goal. Number 2, break it down, right? Actionable steps. What steps am I going to take and when? I'm going to start with drinking a glass of water every day. And then I'm going to move to 5 push-ups every day. And then I'm going to maybe go to the gym for 5 minutes every day. And then I'm going to, and then I'm going to, and then I'm going to, right? What are the actionable steps? Things that you can actually do, not things you're hoping for, not things that you want to happen as a result, things you're actually going to do. Break it down. Number 3, set milestones, right? So milestones are, they're specific markers in your progress. So you're like, okay, cool. So by the end of January, for me, I'm going to be sending out a piece of content to my 30-day challenge every single day. I'm going to be sending out my newsletter every single week, and I'm going to be posting on social media every single day. By the end of January, I'm going to do that. So end of January, I'm going to run a checkup on myself. I'm going to say, how are you doing? Did you do it? Did you stay consistent? No? Yes? Maybe? Let's figure out how to keep doing that. Set milestones for yourself. Give yourself deadlines, right? Now, I haven't set a deadline yet for myself for when the book's going to be out, but I need to do that. That's something that's really important. So I got to set a deadline for the book. I know that that's out there this year, but I want to finish with my January challenge first. And then you're going to make sure that you not only split that into steps, but you understand how they connect to each other, how all of those activities connect to each other. And then you're going to review, right? You're going to review at those milestones and you're going to adjust. So at the end of the month, maybe I find out, you know what? It was really hard for me to write an email every day for the next day. So what am I going to do? I'm going to adjust. Maybe I have a day a week where I write all the emails for that week, right? And actually, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. Is I'm kind of batching those things out. So I'm creating them when I have a large block of time, and then I'm making sure they get pushed out every day. I've created systems around that. So identify the main goal, split it into steps, set milestones for yourself, and then review and adjust as you need to, right? It literally, you could implement this framework with any single thing that you want to do. It does not matter. It does not matter at all. There's that questions link again, by the way. If you want to ask a question anonymously, you toss it out there. Obstacle number 3. Let's get to obstacle number 3 here while we still have a little bit of time. Obstacle number 3, we talked about this a little bit on the last stream. It is insufficient support systems. So this is that A. The A in IDEA is all about accountability. And accountability is painful, my friends, because it means you're responsible. You're responsible to somebody else. And eventually, we want you to become responsible to yourself. The end goal, the self-actualized goal of accountability is for you to be accountable to yourself, right? So, but you usually don't get there until you're accountable to somebody else first. This is where coaching comes in. This is where coaches like myself, this is why we're valuable. This is why you need a coach. And you may think, I don't need a coach, but you do need a coach. Everybody needs a coach. I need a coach, and I coach other people. Everybody needs a coach. And the reason that you need a coach is because you need to start practicing the discipline of accountability today. You need to be accountable to somebody else. And that's the number one value that I offer as a coach is I help you see the areas in your life where you need to make change. I help you understand the steps to make those changes, and then I hold you accountable to those steps, right? So it could be a very simple thing, like, if we're meeting once a week, then every week I'm going to ask you, where are you at with whatever else? It could even be, and we talked about this last time, right? It could be just posting out loud, hey, this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to focus on. In the 30-day challenge that we're doing right now, we have a private Discord that's completely separated from our community Discord here. And we have a private Facebook group. And on those two groups, I encourage people to share where they're at because that creates accountability. Even Tal saying, I've fallen behind. That's accountability, right? That's great. I love it. I love it. It's so important. And we get embarrassed and we get concerned and we get upset and all overwrought about being accountable. But the bottom line is, if you're going to focus on growth, then you got to get past those things. You got to be okay with being a little embarrassed. a little uncomfortable, a little vulnerable. Nobody grows safe, right? We're all about in this society, in this world, we're all about creating safe spaces for people. But I'm gonna tell you right now, it's important for you to have safety, to have emotional safety, but you're not gonna grow safe. When you start to grow, you're gonna open yourself up to danger, and that's great because it's supposed to be hard. Growing is supposed to be hard. It's supposed to build muscles. So that's good. So lack of accountability. The solutions that I wrote down for this are build a community, right? Connect with other people who are pursuing similar goals. The challenge is a great way to do that. I've got another way that I'm going to talk to you about in a moment. You can find an accountability partner. If you just find somebody else, right, you can partner up with and say, hey, I want you to check in on me, like every X number of often, right? I have a writers group that I'm working with right now, and we meet every other Monday. So we meet every other Monday, and this last meeting, guys, it was brutal because it was the first meeting of the new year, and we sat there and we all looked at each other and we're like, uh, we didn't do it. Like, we didn't do it. And we kind of kicked ourselves a little bit, and then we picked back up and we all committed that the next time in 2 weeks when we get together, not a one of us is going to say, I didn't do something with my book. Not a one of us is going to say that. And you know what? We won't, because that's what accountability does. Get rid of the excuses. Ditch the excuses. Ditch the mindset that says I can't, right? Get rid of all that stuff. And then the last thing that you could do here, build a community, find an accountability partner, seek professional guidance. Listen, I know, right? I'm a coach. So you're like, hey, Andrew, it seems like you're selling your services an awful lot. Well, yeah, I am. The reason I'm selling them is because I know that they change people's lives. I have examples of people whose lives they've changed. Listen, I'm not doing this to make $1 billion, guys. I mean, that would be nice. If you know somebody who needs coaching, who's got $1 billion to spare, by all means, give them my information. That's not why I do this. I do this to change lives. I do this to bring people closer to the best version of themselves. And so, as such, I'm actually going to be piloting a new group coaching program this year. So, if you're in the place where you're ready to invest on yourself, I'm going to start a group coaching program. This is going to be a membership-based program, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to offer it right now. I'm going to offer it right now to you guys at a crazy price, at a price that you will not find a coaching program for any place else, anywhere else in the world. This is a dumb price, but you know what? I wanted to offer something to you guys because I know that you guys are serious, right? You're for real. And I know that we all don't have a ton of money, right? But I am challenging you right now to make an investment in yourself. So the group coaching program, and I'll give you more details a little bit later, but it's really designed to help you turn your goals into lasting success. It's kind of an extension of what we're doing in the 30-day challenge, but it's ongoing. It is for people who are struggling to stay consistent with their goals. It is for people who need accountability and who need a community around themselves. It is people who want to create clear steps to get to the next level. And it's for people who need motivation and structure to create lasting habits, because a lot of us need structure and we don't know how to create it on our own, right? So if you're in a place, especially if you're in a place where you just feel stuck in your life, this program is for you. It's gonna have group sessions. So every single week we're gonna have group sessions where you'll be able to connect with other people and with me. It's going to help you create personalized action plans. There's going to be a resource library that I'm going to build out for this thing. There will be additional community. There will be progress reviews. There's going to be a lot of different tiers for this, so you can go as deep or as shallow as you want. But I'm going to tell you right now, the number one reason that you should join is because tomorrow is Quitter's Day, guys, and I don't want you to quit on yourself. I want you to invest in yourself this year. And so, like I said, this is it's a membership-based program. The price that I'm offering you right now, the monthly price that I'm offering you for this, for the first run of it at least. And these are probably going to be like 90-day cohorts, we call them. I'm offering this to you for $14.95. So for less than $15 a month, I'm offering you professional coaching in a group setting. And this is something I've never offered anything anywhere near this price before. But I am giving you guys a little bit of a shout out. I'm not going to broadcast this around my socials. This is for you guys who listen to the podcast, who are here in the live streams. This is for you guys, right? So I'll probably toss it out into the Discord and some other places. But for $15 a month, I'm gonna help you change your life this year. Okay, so I'll get you more details about that. I'm firming it up right now, but we're definitely going to be doing that. So yeah, so that's the kind of one of the solutions to not having sufficient support systems. So here are some practical tips. I want to leave you with a few tips. Us, the insiders. You guys are the insiders. Don't tell anybody else. It's a secret. Unless you know somebody who could really use it. If you know somebody who could really use it, by all means, invite them. That's totally fine. I'll have a section on my website about this. But the base tier, the $14.95 tier, that is going to be strictly for people in this community. So just know, you'll have your own specific like discount code that I'm going to give you guys, where you'll be able to get in. And without that code, nobody else is going to get that price. So you guys are insiders. Accountability check-ins, schedule regular updates with friends or a group, right? Coaching program definitely helps with that. But if you're not doing that, definitely start to do that. Join supportive communities. This is a good one. You found a good one, guys. If you're watching the replay right now, come and join. Hit me up on the website. Send me an email. Direct message me on any of those socials. Let's have a chat about how you can get connected to a community that's supportive, and then celebrate small wins. I talked about it. If you're in the 30-day challenge, you got this email this last week. Celebrate small wins. It is not about waiting for the big victory to celebrate. You've got to create a system of celebration where every single day you're going back and you're looking and you're saying, what did I get done today? Let's freaking go. Let's go. I got that done. Now I'm going to give myself maybe it's just a pat on the back. Maybe you're going to give yourself a treat of some kind. Whatever it's going to be, something hopefully that won't totally ruin your fitness goal if you have one. Celebrate small wins. So listen, guys, I'm almost out of time. I recognize this. I want to remind you. Quitter's Day it's not the end, right? Just like I talk about in Be Great, the book. Failure is not the end unless you choose it as the end. So Quitter's Day is coming tomorrow. And if you choose that day to quit, then that's it. You're out, right? But if you don't choose it, it's just a moment. Even if you slack, even if you let yourself down a little bit, even if you do quit for a day or 2 days or a week, if you don't accept that, it's not the end. Don't be a quitter. Don't take that into your identity. It's not the end. It's an opportunity. That's right, baby. Let's go. Commit to pushing through. Stick with your challenges, whatever it is. If you're in the 30-day challenge, which, by the way, is great. I'm very proud of it. If you're in the 30-day challenge, awesome. If you're not, sign up for the 30-day challenge. And then last but not least, check out the group coaching program. Guys, that is it for me. I am out of time. I got to go. But I want to remind you that I believe in you, that you have a moment of greatness that's waiting for you, but it's not coming for you. Now get out there, my friends, and be great. Let's go.